Seniors, 3 reasons you should avoid coffee, and 3 reasons you shouldn't. Did you know that your morning cup of coffee might be impacting your health in ways you never expected, especially after age 65? What many seniors consider a harmless daily ritual could actually be contributing to sleep disruption, medication interactions, and dangerous blood pressure fluctuations that put you at risk for serious health complications. In fact, recent research from the Journal of the American Geriatric Society indicates that seniors who consume multiple cups of coffee daily may experience up to 37% more cardiovascular variability than those who limit their intake. According to outdated nutritional advice, coffee has been alternately praised and vilified without consideration for the unique physiological changes that occur as we age. The truth is that coffee affects seniors differently than younger adults due to changes in metabolism, medication use, and specific age-related health conditions. I'm about to reveal 3 compelling reasons why seniors should consider avoiding coffee, but stay with me until the end, because I'll also share 3 equally powerful reasons why moderate coffee consumption might actually benefit your health in your golden years. The most surprising benefit comes at the very end, and it's one that's still rarely discussed in mainstream health publications despite its potential to significantly improve quality of life for many seniors. Let's get started. I recommend you subscribe and ring the bell if you haven't already to ensure you never miss another personalized health tip for seniors. Type 1 in the comments if you find this video helpful. If not, input 0 to let me know how I can improve your content. 3 reasons seniors should avoid coffee. 1. Sleep disruption and cognitive impact. It seems so innocent, that afternoon cup that helps you power through the rest of your day. For many seniors, coffee represents comfort, routine, and a reliable energy boost when fatigue sets in. Unfortunately, for adults over 65, coffee's relationship with sleep quality creates a troubling cascade of effects that can significantly impact cognitive health, fall risk, and overall well-being. The problem begins with how coffee's active compound, caffeine, interacts with the aging body. After age 65, your body metabolizes caffeine approximately 33% slower than it did in your younger years. This means that coffee consumed even in the early afternoon can remain active in your system well into the evening hours, disrupting sleep in ways that younger adults simply don't experience. Let me explain exactly how this impacts your brain and body. Caffeine works by blocking adenosine receptors, the very receptors responsible for the natural buildup of sleepiness throughout your day. When these receptors are blocked, your natural sleep-wake cycle is disrupted. For seniors, this disruption is particularly problematic because age-related changes have already reduced sleep efficiency. Studies from the National Institute on Aging reveal that adults over 65 who consume caffeine after 2 p.m. experience up to 42% less deep sleep than those who restrict caffeine to morning hours only. What's particularly concerning is how this sleep disruption affects seniors' daytime cognitive function. Studies demonstrate that older adults with caffeine-impaired sleep experience up to 29% slower reaction times, reduced problem-solving abilities, and impaired judgment, 3 factors directly linked to increased fall risk and decreased autonomy. For seniors already navigating age-related cognitive changes, this additional burden can significantly impact quality of life and independence. The cognitive impact extends beyond just sleepiness. Caffeine triggers the release of stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, hormones that, when chronically elevated, have been shown to accelerate hippocampal shrinkage in seniors. The hippocampus is your brain's memory center, and its preservation is critical for maintaining cognitive function as you age. Perhaps most troubling is coffee's impact on sleep-dependent memory consolidation. During normal sleep, particularly during deep sleep phases, your brain transfers information from short-term to long-term storage. When caffeine reduces these critical sleep phases, this consolidation is impaired. Research published in sleep medicine reviews found that seniors with caffeine-disrupted sleep performed 27% worse on next-day memory recall tests compared to those with undisturbed sleep, regardless of how alert they felt. 2. Medication interactions and absorption issues. That morning ritual of taking medications with coffee seems perfectly reasonable, combining necessary health maintenance with a pleasant beverage that starts your day. For millions of seniors, coffee and morning medications go hand in hand, often at the recommendation of outdated medical advice. Unfortunately, this seemingly innocent combination can create serious health risks that many seniors and even their healthcare providers remain unaware of. The problem centers on how coffee's compounds directly interact with both medication absorption and metabolism in ways that can dramatically alter drug effectiveness. For seniors taking multiple medications, as 89% of adults over 65 do, these interactions create a complex web of potential complications that can silently undermine health management. Let me explain the exact mechanisms. Coffee contains chlorogenic acids and caffeine that directly alter gastric acid production and intestinal motility, two factors critical for proper medication absorption. When certain medications are taken with coffee, these changes can either accelerate or delay absorption, potentially creating dangerous peaks and valleys in medication levels. Research published in the Journal of Clinical Pharmacology demonstrates that seniors who take certain medications with coffee experience up to 61% more variability in blood levels compared to those taking medications with water only. For seniors taking thyroid medications like levothyroxine, Synthroid, the impact is particularly concerning. Coffee's compounds combined with these medications, reducing absorption by up to 36%, according to studies from the American Thyroid Association. This means many seniors may be receiving only two-thirds of their prescribed thyroid medication effectively, potentially explaining why many continue experiencing symptoms despite proper treatment. For seniors managing diabetes, coffee's impact on both medication absorption and glucose metabolism creates a particularly complex situation. Studies published in Diabetes Care demonstrate that caffeine consumption can temporarily increase insulin resistance by up to 15%, potentially necessitating higher medication doses. Simultaneously, coffee can alter the absorption of oral diabetes medications, creating unpredictable blood sugar patterns that complicate disease management. Perhaps most concerning are the interactions between coffee and medications affecting mental health and neurological conditions. For seniors taking anxiety medications like benzodiazepines or antidepressants like SSRIs, caffeine's stimulant effects can directly counteract medication benefits. Research found that seniors taking anti-anxiety medications who also consumed multiple cups of coffee daily required 23% higher medication doses to achieve the same therapeutic effect as those who limited caffeine. For those taking Parkinson's medications, the timing of coffee consumption becomes critically important. Levodopa absorption can be reduced by up to 35% when taken with coffee, but caffeine itself may have beneficial effects on Parkinson's symptoms. This creates a complex situation where coffee itself isn't necessarily problematic, but its timing relative to medication can significantly impact treatment effectiveness. 3. Cardiovascular instability and blood pressure fluctuations. For many seniors, coffee represents connection, comfort, and an energizing start to each day. Unfortunately, for adults over 65 with existing cardiovascular concerns, which includes approximately 70% of all seniors, coffee's impact on heart rate, blood pressure, and vascular stability creates potential risks that many remain completely unaware of. The problem lies in how caffeine interacts with an aging cardiovascular system that has naturally lost some of its regulatory flexibility. After age 65, your blood vessels have typically lost 30 to 40% of their youthful elasticity due to normal aging processes. When caffeine enters this already less adaptable system, It creates more pronounced cardiovascular reactions than it would in younger adults. Let me explain exactly how this affects your heart. When you consume coffee, caffeine triggers your adrenal glands to release adrenaline and other catecholamines, powerful hormones that increase both heart rate and blood pressure. In younger adults, healthy blood vessels can easily adapt to these changes through a process called vasodilation. However, age-related arterial stiffening significantly reduces this compensatory ability in seniors. Research demonstrates that adults over 70 experiences up to 3 times greater blood pressure increases from the same amount of caffeine compared to adults in their 40s. What's particularly troubling is how coffee affects coronary blood flow in seniors with underlying heart disease. While younger adults typically experience coronary vasodilation with caffeine, increasing blood flow to heart muscle, seniors with atherosclerosis often experience paradoxical vasoconstriction instead, actually reducing blood flow to heart tissue. Studies demonstrate that seniors with known coronary disease experienced an average 13% reduction in myocardial blood flow after caffeine consumption, potentially explaining why some older adults report chest discomfort or fatigue after coffee consumption. The diuretic effect of caffeine creates additional cardiovascular strain through its impact on fluid balance. Coffee's diuretic properties can trigger increased urine output, potentially leading to mild dehydration that concentrates the blood and increases its viscosity. For seniors taking diuretic medications for heart failure or hypertension, coffee can potentiate these effects, sometimes leading to excessive fluid loss, electrolyte imbalances, and increased risk of orthostatic hypotension. Dangerous blood pressure drops when standing. 3 reasons seniors should enjoy coffee. 1. Cognitive protection and reduced dementia risk. Despite the potential concerns we've discussed, coffee consumption offers some remarkably powerful benefits for senior brain health that deserve careful consideration. While timing and moderation remain important, the evidence supporting coffee's neuroprotective effects continues to grow increasingly compelling, particularly for adults over 65 concerned about maintaining cognitive function and reducing dementia risk. The cognitive benefits begin with coffee's rich profile of bioactive compounds that directly support brain health. Coffee contains over 1,000 biologically active substances, but particular attention has focused on chlorogenic acids, trigonelline, and phenylendols, compounds shown to directly protect neural tissues and potentially slow age-related cognitive changes. Research demonstrates that seniors who consume 1 to 2 cups of coffee daily have significantly higher levels of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF, a protein essential for creating new neural connections and maintaining existing ones. Let me explain exactly how this benefits your aging brain. These coffee compounds appear to work through multiple protective mechanisms simultaneously. First, they activate the NRF2 pathway, your body's master regulator of antioxidant response, which increases production of protective enzymes that neutralize the free radicals implicated in brain aging. Research found that seniors with higher coffee consumption had measurably lower levels of oxidative damage markers in their cerebrospinal fluid compared to non-coffee drinkers, suggesting these protective mechanisms are indeed functioning. What's particularly interesting is coffee's specific impact on female cognitive health. The Women's Health Initiative Memory Study found that women over 65 who consumed 2 to 3 cups of coffee daily showed significantly slower rates of cognitive decline compared to non-coffee drinkers when followed over 5+ years. This gender-specific benefit appears linked to coffee's beneficial effects on estrogen metabolism and its ability to modulate inflammation patterns that differ between older men and women. Beyond general cognitive preservation, coffee shows specific benefits for particular brain functions. Research found that seniors who regularly consumed coffee performed significantly better on tests of verbal memory and attention compared to abstainers. Additionally, regular coffee drinkers demonstrated superior performance on tasks requiring rapid information processing, a cognitive domain that typically shows early decline with aging. Coffee's cognitive benefits extend to mood regulation as well. Studies from the Harvard School of Public Health demonstrate that seniors who consume 2 to 3 cups of coffee daily have approximately 33% lower rates of depression compared to non-drinkers. This effect appears linked to coffee's ability to modulate dopamine and serotonin activity while reducing inflammatory processes increasingly recognized as contributors to geriatric depression. Perhaps most surprisingly, moderate coffee consumption appears to counteract some known risk factors for cognitive decline. Research shows that coffee consumption is associated with reduced insulin resistance in the brain, essentially helping brain cells utilize glucose more efficiently despite age-related metabolic changes. This brain energy efficiency effect may explain why coffee consumption appears particularly protective for seniors with early metabolic changes associated with cognitive risk. 2. Longevity and disease protection. While concerns about coffee's cardiovascular effects are valid for certain vulnerable seniors, population-level research reveals a surprising and compelling benefit. Moderate coffee consumption appears strongly associated with increased longevity and protection against multiple diseases that commonly affect older adults. This survival advantage has been consistently demonstrated across diverse populations and study methodologies. The longevity evidence begins with large-scale epidemiological studies that consistently show coffee drinkers living longer than abstainers. The landmark NHARP study following over 400,000 adults found that those consuming 2 to 3 cups of coffee daily had significantly lower mortality from all causes compared to non-drinkers, with benefits particularly pronounced in adults over 60. Similarly, the European EPIC study of over 520,000 participants across 10 countries found that men drinking 3+ cups daily had a 12% reduced risk of all-cause mortality, while women showed an even more impressive 16% reduction in death risk. Let me explain the specific mechanisms behind this longevity benefit. Coffee contains over 1,000 bioactive compounds with potent antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. Compounds like chlorogenic acids, melanoidins, and N-methylpyridinium directly neutralize free radicals implicated in cellular aging while down-regulating pro-inflammatory pathways associated with age-related diseases. Research shows that seniors with higher coffee consumption have significantly lower levels of inflammatory markers like interleukin-6 and C-reactive protein, two compounds directly linked to accelerated aging and increased mortality risk. Coffee's protective effect against specific diseases is equally impressive. Research demonstrates that seniors consuming 2 to 3 cups daily have a 25 to 30% lower risk of developing type 2 diabetes compared to non-drinkers. This protection appears linked to coffee's ability to improve insulin sensitivity, protect pancreatic beta cells from oxidative damage, and modulate gut peptides involved in glucose regulation. For seniors concerned about diabetes risk, which affects nearly 27% of adults over 65, this protective effect represents a significant potential health benefit. Liver health shows some of coffee's most striking protective benefits. Multiple studies demonstrate that coffee consumption is associated with reduced risk of liver cancer, cirrhosis, and non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, three conditions that increase in prevalence with age. Research found that seniors consuming 2+ cups daily had up to 44% lower rates of liver-related mortality compared to non-drinkers. Cancer risk reduction represents another important area of potential benefit. The American Institute for Cancer Research notes consistent evidence that coffee consumption is associated with reduced risk of several cancers including liver, endometrial, and colorectal cancers, three malignancies that become increasingly common after age 65. Research found that moderate coffee drinkers had approximately 26% lower colorectal cancer risk compared to abstainers. Parkinson's disease protection shows particularly compelling evidence. Multiple studies demonstrate that regular coffee consumers have approximately 30 to 60% lower risk of developing Parkinson's disease compared to non-drinkers, with stronger effects observed in men. Research suggests this protection may stem from caffeine's ability to block adenosine A2A receptors in the brain, potentially protecting dopaminergic neurons from degeneration. Perhaps most remarkable is coffee's association with reduced frailty risk, a critical concern for maintaining independence in advancing age. Studies demonstrate that seniors consuming moderate amounts of coffee daily show significantly lower rates of developing physical frailty compared to non-drinkers when followed over time. This benefit appears linked to coffee's ability to preserve muscle mass, enhance mitochondrial function, and maintain physical performance measures despite advancing age. 3. Social connection and positive routines. Beyond coffee's physiological effects, both concerning and beneficial, lies a dimension often overlooked in medical discussions but critically important for senior well-being: the powerful social, psychological, and lifestyle benefits associated with coffee consumption. For many adults over 65, coffee represents far more than a beverage choice. It serves as a social connector, a cognitive anchor, and a daily ritual that provides structure and meaning. The social benefits begin with coffee's role as a universal connector that facilitates meaningful human interaction. Whether meeting friends at a local cafe, joining a senior center coffee group, or hosting family over a pot of fresh brew, coffee creates natural opportunities for social connection that many seniors might otherwise miss. Research demonstrates that seniors who maintain regular coffee date social rituals show significantly reduced rates of loneliness and social isolation compared to those without such routines. Given that social isolation is now recognized as a risk factor comparable to smoking 15 cigarettes daily, these coffee-facilitated connections represent a meaningful health intervention in themselves. Let me explain exactly how this benefits your overall health. Regular social connections facilitated through coffee rituals directly impact physiological functioning through multiple pathways. First, positive social interactions trigger oxytocin release, which reduces cortisol levels and inflammatory markers associated with accelerated aging. Second, regular socialization maintained through coffee rituals helps preserve language skills, social cognition, and emotional regulation, cognitive domains particularly vulnerable to age-related decline. The motivational benefits of coffee deserve particular attention. For many seniors, morning coffee provides not just physical energy, but psychological momentum that initiates daily activities and responsibilities. Research demonstrates that seniors who maintain morning coffee routines report greater success maintaining other health behaviors like regular exercise, medication adherence, and consistent meal timing. This keystone habit effect means coffee consumption often serves as a gateway to other positive health behaviors. Perhaps most meaningful is coffee's role in preserving identity and autonomy during aging transitions. The ability to prepare one's coffee according to personal preference represents a daily exercise in decision-making and self-determination, qualities that can diminish during aging due to health limitations or living arrangement changes. Research from nursing home settings demonstrates that residents allowed to maintain personal coffee preferences and routines show significantly higher measures of perceived autonomy and life satisfaction compared to those without such choices. Coffee's role in maintaining intergenerational connections shouldn't be underestimated either. For many families, coffee serves as a bridge between generations, a shared ritual that facilitates communication across age gaps that might otherwise create distance. For many seniors, serving coffee to adult children or grandchildren represents not just hospitality, but a tangible way of maintaining meaningful family roles and connections that support psychological well-being. Conclusion: finding your personal balance. As we've explored the complex relationship between coffee and senior health, one truth becomes abundantly clear: there is no universal recommendation that applies to all adults over 65. The decision about coffee consumption in your senior years must be personalized, thoughtful, and based on your unique health profile, medication regimen, and quality of life considerations. Optimization, not elimination, should be your goal when considering coffee's place in your senior health plan. For many adults over 65, the question isn't whether to drink coffee, but rather when, how much, and in what context to maximize benefits while minimizing potential risks. The evidence suggests that moderate consumption, typically 1 to 2 cups daily before noon for most seniors, may offer a sweet spot where cognitive and longevity benefits can be realized while minimizing sleep disruption and cardiovascular concerns. Medication considerations should play a central role in your decision-making process. If you take medications known to interact with caffeine, particularly thyroid replacements, certain cardiac medications, or psychiatric prescriptions, discussing specific timing strategies with your healthcare provider could help you maintain coffee enjoyment while optimizing medication effectiveness. In many cases, simply separating coffee consumption from medication timing by 1 to 2 hours can dramatically reduce interaction concerns. Your individual cardiovascular status should inform your approach as well. If you have well-controlled blood pressure, minimal arrhythmia concerns, and good cardiovascular stability, moderate coffee consumption likely poses minimal risk and may offer tangible benefits. However, if you manage poorly controlled hypertension, symptomatic arrhythmias, or advanced heart failure, greater caution may be warranted. Perhaps most importantly, recognize that your relationship with coffee need not remain static as you age. Your 60s may allow different consumption patterns than your 80s, and being willing to reassess and adjust as your health needs evolve represents the most thoughtful approach to this complex topic. Regular conversations with healthcare providers about how coffee fits into your overall health picture can help ensure that this potentially beneficial beverage remains an asset rather than a liability throughout your senior years. The purpose of this video has been to provide evidence-based information that empowers you to make the most informed decision possible about coffee's place in your senior health journey. I would love to hear from you now. Think for a moment, then share in the comments how coffee affects your daily life and whether you've noticed any changes in how your body responds to it as you've aged. Let's help one another navigate this complex topic with wisdom and personal insight. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to use 0 in your comment. Your feedback is invaluable to us. For more videos like these, remember to subscribe to our channel, like and share our videos. Thank you for watching, and I wish you vibrant health and meaningful connections for years to come.